Hi guys, so I'm going to do today's weekly tarot reading. Now I'm going to do this a little bit different. I wanted to come up with something different for it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that 1, 2, 3 card. And this is for the lovers. So we're going to do a lovers reading this time. So I've got 3 cards here. And now I'm going to build on them. So I'm not going to just only do 1 card because I like to do a little bit more than that. But I'm going to have you start. You're going to choose 1, 2, or 3. And it's going to be a message for spirit for your relationship. So I want you all to kind of sit there and meditate on it with the best intentions to receive a message from spirit. And then once you have picked your number, when you hear it, that is your message. So let's get to it. What we've got, I've got 3 cards. I have not looked at them. They're already laid out. So 1, 2, 3 is your message. Here we go. So we're going to start for those who chose 1. And the card I get is the Princess of Pentacles in the reverse position. Now, as I kind of meditate this for 1, I can see this card in situations where maybe somebody is considering a pregnancy. They would maybe like to have children. I actually had a read like this today when I was reading for someone else. And this is something that they really want, but it could be that their partner is not on board. So let's build a little bit on that and see another card. Now, I do have the Death card in the reverse position. So as I kind of look at that, I kind of see, you know what, maybe we're hanging on to a certain situation that probably needs to come to an end because we're not quite in alignment on wanting to have children and so forth. This could be a bit of a challenge. So let's see a little bit deeper into that. Yes, yes. And I do have the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse position. So, you know, she's fertile, she is ready, she would like to have children, but, you know, she's beside herself that she is not able to get her wish on this situation with this partner. So, you know, I've got that Death reverse card. We're kind of holding out there, you know, for hope and everything. Now, I did just draw the Temperance card. I feel like we have been very patient on this situation, waiting for this lover to kind of come around and maybe provide that, you know, that child that they so desire. But, you know, the thing is, you know, ladies, our biological clocks, they can tick and so forth. And so we can't always wait that long. It's not a good one. And then I just drew the 4 of Wands. So this is especially about a committed relationship, but that is the whole package, a stable foundation and everything that you want to have. So the message for number 1, for the relationship, and I'm being drawn to the ladies for this as I have a queen, is that if you want that nice, committed, stable relationship, the whole package, you know, to have, you know, family and everything, if you're waiting for a certain person to be able to provide you with a child, but they're not on board, we need to take that consideration and not be trying to necessarily sit there and change the person, but maybe we need to change our mind on the situation with that person that, you know what, there's no point in trying to change them because I'm the one who is going to have to change, you know, my situation where I may have to give up having a child, and that is something I really, really want to do. And so for those who chose 1, if that is a situation, then the message is for you. Now you know what it is. So the next one, for number 2, I've got the Magician in the reverse position. So the Magician especially is about manifestation and conforming things to the will. So now I've got another situation where we may be dealing with, you know, that the relationship is not necessarily manifested exactly how we want. Now let's go ahead and pull another one to see a little bit more on that. Oh, okay, so for number 2, we've got Justice. Now, Justice, I can see in situations where we are dealing with a karmic relationship, as this card is about karma. So we are attracting someone to our wounds. So there can sometimes be situations where the karmic relationship can work out. It does happen. However, not always, because especially if the other person is only exasperating those wounds. So we got to look at what healing do I need to do, and how is this affecting me with this relationship. We've got to see the lessons, or else we just keep wounding each other. But if we can get to the core issue and what the deeper lesson is that we have to learn, then we can get to a better place. Will this relationship make it, though, being a karmic relationship? Let's see what Spirit says. I do have the Fool card. So this is one of the things, though, the Fool is about trust. We've got to trust Spirit during this time. Now, one of the things that we need to understand in a karmic relationship, it's not that Spirit is trying to put you in a bad position. We attract the karmic relationships ourselves. When we have certain unhealed wounds and areas we need to work on. But we want to trust Spirit during this time that there is still something that can be learned from this relationship. How can we make it into a positive? But just because we can make the lesson a positive doesn't mean we should necessarily have to stay. Now then I draw the Five of Cups, or the Five of Hearts in the reverse position. So this is especially the card about mourning, a loss, and so forth. I look at this, and this makes me feel the person who chose this had a prior relationship, and it didn't go the way they wanted. But they hadn't 100% really healed exactly what they needed to heal, and they ended up in a situation that was kind of similar. That the relationship is so close to being like the last one, and it's going the same road. So we've got that mourning of a loss of even the past one. We're ending up in a similar situation, maybe like a rebound. But the Five of Cups still has the Two of Cups behind him. So the real soulmate is somewhere else. And this is one of the things that needs to be taken into consideration. We are wasting time in this situation. Let's learn the lesson now, okay? Why we ended up in this position, so we could go on and find the right soulmate for us. And one more. And I've got the Six of Pentacles in the reverse position. So the giving and the receiving is not necessarily equal when I can see the Six of Pentacles in the reverse position. So I have a situation where someone is in a karmic relationship. They are the main one giving. They are the main one doing this, and the other person is take, take, take. They have ended up in a situation very similar to the last relationship because they had not learned some deeper lessons and done all the healing that they needed to do. And so we got another tough situation. We've got the situation here from the first card where people are not in alignment with the goals and where the relationship is heading. And then we've got the karmic relationship where the wounds are the only thing that are really in alignment, and it's time to learn the deeper lessons so we can move on. Let's go to the third choice. If you chose 3, let's hope it's a little better. Oh, I've got the Ace of Hearts in the reverse position. So I've got a situation where for the third, we may be falling out of love a little bit here, that it's kind of missing. And that's a key ingredient, is the Ace of Cups or the Ace of Hearts is upright in the relationship. And then I've also got the Ace of Swords in the reverse position. So I feel communication is strained. So I could be dealing with a situation where we might not even be speaking to the person at the moment. We may be dealing with some challenges. I'm not necessarily having good communication. So it could either be cut off or it could be very strained, and we're just not getting in alignment with proper communication. I almost feel like pulling a fourth one because I want to hear some good news for some of you. Okay. Yeah, so the third one is really tough because I've got the Two of Cups in the reverse position. So I can see this in situations where soulmates either need to part or they have parted. So I've got a situation here. I've got two aces down turned. I've got the two of cups. We need to part ways. We simply need to do that. You know, the aces are down turned. It's not a positive one. Now I've got the Six of Swords in the reverse position. I'm dealing with a lot of reversals here. I can see this especially when we need to move on to something better. But we may be at a standstill. I don't want to move on. I want to make this work. I want to fix this relationship. I am not ready to go. But I look at the situation and I feel like the other person already has 1 foot out of the door pretty much, if not two, with these aces down turned. And the communication being either strained or cut off depending on the situation. So there is definitely, Spirit is saying you may be prolonging the inevitable here and by sticking into this relationship. And then I draw the Hermit reverse. So the Hermit reverse, the fear of being alone. I don't want to be alone though. I don't want to be, you know, this is one of the reasons I'm hanging in here. Is because I fear being alone. This is not what I want. So this is some tough stuff here. You guys have, I know, but you know, relationship reads can be tough, but you've all three situations really feel to me, and it must be, you know, maybe it's a little bit of COVID, but I feel like that the people that I'm reading for are just not in alignment, and these are some kind of core issues that are going on in the relationship that is challenging, you know, and some of you really need to hear this message. I'm going to pull you guys some oracle cards, and this is going to be for everyone that I pull these oracle cards. Ooh, yeah, we got some challenging ones. Now, the very first card is Dragonfly. Live life to the fullest. And this is what it's really about, guys, is that life is meant to be enjoyed. You know, it really is. And we want to live life to the fullest. We should not have to put our life on hold for, say, the wrong situation is very important. You know, and I do read for a lot of people. I do a lot of relationships reads. And many times when people come for a reading, they are not in the best place. You know, they're not like, my relationship's perfect, I need a reading. You know, I want to see how perfect it is. It doesn't work that way. So if you came to my weekly tarot read with the relationship, there was probably some challenges in there. I look at the card Money, Find a Way to Abundance, that some of you may be stuck in situations and you're kind of hanging in there because of financial reasons, which can be very common, especially in marriages where things are kind of going south, but you kind of hang in there because of financial reasons. I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to be destitute. I don't want to have to move into a little studio apartment. I don't want to eat top ramen. But if you want to find your joy, sometimes we got to start over. That is one of the things. And then for some of you, confrontation, choose your battles wisely. So some of you may need to really step back and kind of talk to your partner and really, you know, have that discussion. You know, for those who maybe are like, you know what, I know you read this, but I really want to save it. And that takes communication, and that takes two people working together. You know, just like the situation with number 2, you know, I am doing the giving. I am the majority, you know, doing this. But what do I receive in return? There needs to be an equal give and receive in a situation, you know, which is very important. And then we look at 3, you know, there is a fear of being alone. And this is why maybe we settle in relationships where soulmates really need to part. We need to fix that. You know, no relationship is going to be perfect. Maybe there's a small percentage. You know, some of the old people who have learned to work out their problems, you know, the elderly that have stayed together for 50, 60 years, they learned how to communicate. They learned how to they didn't give up so easy. Back in the day, they didn't give up on everything so easy. But nowadays, it's so easy to walk away for many situations. But one of the things I find, which is a very big challenge in a lot of relationship reads I do, is both parties are always trying to change the other person into something different. I want you to change to be like this so it's more acceptable in me, and vice-versa. So that is one of the things. But you need that relationship where people are like, I accept you as you are. I take you, the good, the bad, the ugly. And that's the kind of relationship, people need. Not saying people don't need to change. I'm just saying that people need to have acceptance. I'm going to draw a few cards, and let's, see another message for everyone. I just feel like I want to draw 3 more. That one's sticking out. Like overall, what all 3 categories need to know. And I'm especially, if it seems female geared, my group is 85% women. Many people are going to follow it. But the very first card is strength. So one of the things is we all need to realize, that we got to be strong in these situations. We cannot cower. It's important to not settle. I know we love people and we don't want to give up. This is the hook. But we've got to be strong during these times. And we can't be codependent on situations that are not good for us. And then the middle one is the moon. It's real important because this is not a clear type of card. It can very much confuse us, but we've got to seek clarity. We got to go beyond that moon, the subconscious forces, and really seek clarity in these situations. And then the reversal, the King of Hearts. Now I want you to kind of look at the King of Hearts, who is the King of Cups, who is so ideal that everybody just wants that special guy that is everything we want and just to love us and so forth. He just seems so perfect. Look at him right there, just inviting and waiting for love. But it's in a reverse position. So many are, choosing situations where it's not necessarily about perfection, but it's about that person who's willing to go all in with their heart. Regardless with the situation, hey, I'm in it to win it here. I am investing in you, into this relationship. I'm going to give it my all. I'm not going to hold back. So many situations we end up in relationships where people are holding back because, they are afraid to go all in. Maybe they got burned from that past relationship. So they hardened their heart a little bit and they became very challenged and they're not giving. But if they're going to grow out of it, we have to have women cross their path who will not tolerate it and say, if you're not going to open up to me, if you're not going to be all in with this relationship, I got to go on. I got to find the person who's going to give me what I need. So ladies, definitely all of you have challenging situations, that came through in the reading. We got to stand up for ourselves at a certain point. We've got to kind of stand up for ourselves and look at what do I really want in a relationship and who is going to match what is in my heart. I hope this helps.